Welcome back to Sports Edge. I've kind of been dreading doing this interview because it means that you're actually going to be leaving. It's Jack McDonald, the longtime athletic director at Quinnipiac University. Boy, the things that you accomplished over there, and as people know by now, you have retired from Quinnipiac, but not from the job. You're moving on, moving on to new opportunities. Let's start. Tell us where you're heading and the exciting things going on.
Well, thanks, Noah, for having me. And you know, last October when I announced my retirement, little did I know and this would happen. And many friends, particularly the ones who were retired ahead of me, said, Jack, be sure you stay busy and there will be new opportunities coming your way. And I just sort of said, no, you're right, that'll never happen. And sure enough, it did happen. So one thing led to another, and I'm off to University of New England right after the 4th of July.
So why did you make the decision to move on?
To move on from Quinnipiac?
Yeah.
I think it was, you know, everybody, you know, when you're young, you have these little dots when you try to connect the dots, and little things were starting to connect. Things like, you know, all my sons had graduated from Quinnipiac. The house was empty. Quinnipiac was in great shape with our great coaches and great success. There was some opportunities, incentives for those of us that were there for 20 years, so I thought that would be a nice opportunity. And it just happened. It was all the right thing. I talked to President Leahy, who I'm going to miss terribly, and talked to my coaches, which was incredibly difficult to do.
Sure.
And so it was just the right thing. And sometimes, you know the say in the world of sports, sometimes it's better to go a year too early than a year too late. Fast forward to April, all of a sudden another opportunity came. So I couldn't be more grateful to Quinnipiac for what they've done for me and my coaches and the fans of Connecticut.
20 years at Quinnipiac, in which time you helped build up really all of the sports programs there. Talk to me about some of the things that you're most proud of having seen grow there in the last 20 years.
Well, it's fun. You know, in 1995 when I first met President Leahy, and he said we're thinking about Division I, but you know, when I got to Quinnipiac, it was pretty much a small regional college.
Yeah.
And it was called Quinnipiac College. Its nickname was the Braves, and it was Division II. And over the next 20 years, we went from Quinnipiac College to Quinnipiac University, the Quinnipiac Braves to the Quinnipiac Bobcats, and from Division II to Division I. So I think those are the ones that stand out. And I think after we became Division I think the opportunity to be invited to 2 prestigious conferences, and first was ECAC hockey,
yep,
with the great support of Yale, you know, endorsing our candidacy to be an ECAC and play with the Ivy Leagues and the Colgates and Clarkson and St. Lawrence's, and then just 2 years ago to be invited to the MAC, which is really a major, mid-major conference. Yep. So I think those are the things, but even behind the scenes, the many championships in the sports, you know, the women's soccer and women's field hockey and the tremendous women's rugby, the numerous women's tennis opportunities, the 8 or 9 women's cross-country championships. I know I'm going to forget some, but the baseball championship with Coach Gooley and the recent run by Coach Delaney in the MAC baseball tournament. So, but I think even beyond that was the grades that the student athletes got. Our grade point average went from 2.8 to 2.9 to 3.0 to 3.1 to 3.2, and I think this past semester we were 3.3. The community service was so heartwarming for me. That's something that I and we should be most proud of. You know, in sports, there's always someone who wins and someone who loses, but in community service, everybody wins, and so to me, that's very important.
Yeah, sure.
It's been a great run in most all of the sports, but the bottom line, it's Quinnipiac's a perfect neighborhood, and I have the best coaching staff in all of America. They're really dedicated people to the total well-being of the student athlete, not just winning games. I will always be a very proud member of the Quinnipiac family. It'll always be something near and dear to me, and again, you know, 4 or 5 degrees for my sons and a great experience for me and my wife Linda, and so it was just awesome.
Well, thank you very much for coming in. Thank you very much for your service to Quinnipiac and the community, and like I say, we'll miss you. Appreciate it.
And thank you for all your WTNH. You guys are a part of the success too. We couldn't have done it without the great media support.
We love having good things to cover.
And
so
keep the show running. I want to watch it from Maine.
Beautiful.
Okay.
All right. Thanks so much. We'll be back with more Sports Edge.